Yeah, do you want to kind of start off like what was saying what the first one is, kind of what it does, and then you can go on and show it?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so chip.ai is the website and it's free to get started. Anyone can go and build applications. A lot of people use Chip to generate leads and sales. So this is a social media engine for companies to repurpose content into social media, right? So we'll just click, let's write some social media posts, and it's just going to ask me what I want to write about. So I'm going to write about AI for sales, right? And you can see it kind of flips the relationship between AI and the person. Instead of you telling it what to do, it's asking you what to do. So here we might say that, you know, we use AI to increase sales with podcasts or something like that. And we want to focus on future growth for agencies using AI. And then it's going to use that, to start generating the different pieces. So it's going to actually ask me to improve, right? So I'll say the call to action is subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to Sam's podcast, we'll say, and we'll see what it gives back. But you can kind of see this is a way to integrate kind of the workflow into a company or an agency. So now it's going to, spit out the answers kind of based on that. Now, what you'll
Nice.
notice is this isn't trained on anything. So, what I would recommend a company do is then add a data source, which is essentially a file, with an example of social media posts or blog posts that you've created, because then it'll actually write it with the same language, the same style, same tone. But then you
Cool.
have, very quickly, you have a social media engine that everyone in your company can use, and you can all kind of speak in the same way. So,
So
I'll
let
stop
me
there.
ask
You
you
can
about
let me
the.
know if that's what you had in mind.
Yeah, that's great. Can you actually pull that back up? I want to ask you about
Sure.
the data sources because that seems
Yeah.
like the really, really unique part there of like why would I use this versus just kind of go write something using ChatGPT and prompting. So what are some
Yep.
of the data sources that you could upload for that? And if I'm like I guess there's two scenarios. Maybe I'm a founder without a social media person and I don't want to have to do all of the writing. Or maybe
Yeah.
it's sort of like I have a junior social media person and I want them to use this tool to basically be a senior social media writer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would think about data sources as giving tone and giving like examples of good outcomes. So AI is really good if you say, I want A, here's an example of C, it'll fill in B. So what I would do if I was doing this for Chip, I would just go, to chip.ai/blog, and I would just
Mm,
export like one or two of these that I think are really good. So I might
amazing.
say, wow, this is a really good example of a blog post that we write because it has short length. It has some headlines. So I can copy and paste this into a Word doc, or I could export this, I could share this as a file. I don't know how to do that. So you just share that as any PDF or Word doc, and then we would upload that as an example. So
Nice.
um, that's how I would use it. So then you just go in here, and I can even grab one. So, I can grab something. I don't know if this is very fun to look at, but um, so here's an example for the state actually. So this is like a certification document that they have shared. So I can put that in here, and now in my prompt, I would just say, you're an energetic creator, write in the style of the attached document, right? And then it's gonna copy that of the attached document. So that'll then change the voice and length and stuff like that. So that's how I would use that. It can also add details. So you could imagine for your company, maybe you want to have a customer support bot. You could actually upload all the details about your company
Oh,
and
cool.
then ask questions about it. So we've actually done that on our homepage. When you go to the Chip homepage, there's a Chip chat, we call it. And when you scroll down, sorry, close your eyes. Here you can learn about Chip, and this is all based on our files that we've uploaded. So,
Oh,
yeah,
super cool. Nice. Okay, so I could see it. Like, I'm a huge fan of using AI for what I call cascading content or just repurposing. So,
yeah,
I would never go in and just have ChatGPT write me an article from scratch. I don't think it's very good at doing that yet. But for
yeah,
example, I'll take this conversation and take the transcript and use that to write a blog post. And so then this kind of
yeah,
takes it one level further. It's like you could take a company's entire blog post or sales resources or whatever and use that as the data source to then either write social posts I could see it being used for maybe like sales conversion if you have a really complex B2B product where people, instead of conversing with a salesperson, which they don't always love, they could instead kind of use it as a chatbot. Is there any other applications you found for using that in terms of like
Yeah.
uploading and
And I
using
would
it on
flip
your
it
website?
back too. Like, I love what you're saying. You start with cornerstone content, repurpose that with AI, repurpose that into social. Like, that's a really smart kind of, I always think about like a pyramid of content, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but then I think flipping it back. So, like, what are the emails or support tickets you're receiving that then you can turn into blog posts that people could find before they have to ask you? So, we get a lot of questions like you've probably already asked, like, what kind of files can we upload? What's the limit? Can we move things from OpenAI? And then we can just take those support tickets or those previous conversations, export them as a file, upload it, and say like, write me a blog post based on the attached file, and it'll just spit out kind of the blog post. So yeah, I think both ways, right? Kind of a nice flywheel of content.
Nice. That's amazing. Okay, cool. There's